And the Supreme Court heard arguments today in a case involving two major issues. The first is birthright citizenship. President Trump wants to deny citizenship to a baby born in the United States unless at least one parent is a citizen.
The other issue is what's called a national injunction. The question is whether an order by a judge in one federal district can be applied nationwide, even if parties not involved in the case.
Here's Jan Crawford.
This expecting mother says she dreams of her baby girl being born an American citizen. She asks us not to show her face because she's undocumented. She worries without birthright citizenship, her baby could be deported with her back to Guatemala, where she says she feared a stalker who murdered her friend. But she's gotten a reprieve. Judges across the country are rejecting President Trump's efforts to end automatic birthright citizenship. 3 of those judges entering injunctions that apply nationwide. Juan Perano is the head of LULAC, the nation's largest Latino civil rights organization.
What is your concern if the court says no nationwide injunctions?
Well, then you're going to have lawsuits effectively filed in every single state. It's going to tie up the courts, and individuals may lose their protections under the Constitution.
The Obama and Biden administrations opposed national injunctions, arguing judges in conservative states, such as Texas, where opponents chose to file lawsuits, were dictating national policy. Now the shoe is on the other foot. A CBS News analysis of more than 300 lawsuits filed against the Trump administration found that outside of Washington, D.C., the most are in liberal Massachusetts, followed by Maryland, California, and New York. West Virginia Attorney General J.B. McCuskey says that shows why it's a problem when these rulings apply nationwide.
People begin to look at circuit judges as an extension of the political process. And that is fundamentally disastrous for the way that the public views the impartiality and the power of our court system.
Disastrous. Why?
Because the court is nothing if it doesn't have its integrity.
And Jan Crawford's at the High Court right now. So, Jan, any sense of where the justices are leaning after hearing how they heard the arguments today?
You know, Maurice, sometimes I can stand here and confidently predict how they're going to decide the case just based on the questions that they asked during those arguments. This is not that case. I mean, it was over 2 hours of argument, and they really struggled with how they're going to resolve this. I think there is a majority of justices that are ready to say no more and put an end to these nationwide injunctions. But how are they going to write that? What's that rule going to look like? Sometimes there's a saying here, that opinion just won't write, and it's not at all clear how they're going to get there, especially as it relates to this issue of birthright citizenship.
Yeah, Jan, how much was this about this idea of a national injunction, which is an abstract question? How much mixed in was the birthright citizenship, even though that wasn't really what the case was about?
Yeah, I mean, that isn't what the case is about, as you said. I mean, this is the issue of whether a single judge in one district can essentially dictate policy nationwide. It's not a partisan issue. Democratic presidents don't like these things either. President Obama didn't. President Biden didn't. That's the issue before the justices. Eventually, I think they're probably going to have to decide the issue of birthright citizenship, maybe sooner rather than later. Not in this case. And so far, the president, right now anyway, has lost that issue in every single lower court that's considered it.